Welcome back, guys. Here we are on Enshrouded, and today what we're going to work on is this bit in the background. Now, you've seen me work on everything else. Okay, we've done the inside, we've done a little bit of the outside, we've done a little bit of the courtyard. You know, some of that still needs a little bit of finishing, but I mean, what are we going to do with this? Well, here's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to show you some ideas. But it seems here we almost have a working farm here. And let's face it, you're going to have the other NPCs on here. So you're going to need something to do. Now, I mean, so far, yes, we have a wonderful kitchen. We have a wonderful sort of dining room where, you know, everybody can sit and eat. Not quite big enough for the amount of NPCs in the game, but it depends how many people you want to fit here. But even with the basics, I mean, what are they going to do? They can sit in the wonderful lounge upstairs. They can read books. You know, we can regale them with stories up in the armory. You know, how you got those, how you got the heads, how you got the trophies, how you got. But that's only going to go on for so long. I mean, how long are you going to bore them to death with the same stories? So we need some entertainment around here. And, you know, with this being a working farm with plenty of crops, fruit, veg, it seems to me that all that preparation could be done in the kitchen for meals, but entertainment. We've got Valerie the Bard. What are we missing? Well, really, we're kind of missing an inn, a place where, you know, they can sit down, maybe have a couple of drinks, maybe have some entertainment, hear some singing. So that's what we're going to turn this place into. We are going to make this our entertainment area, our tavern. Now, obviously, you've already got taverns on the map. I mean, you know, what about the Blue Goblet Tavern? Marvellous. Love the Blue Goblet Tavern. You know, already revamped that at one point. So, yeah, you already do have taverns on there. But what happens if we want a tavern here on our farm where we can use all our fresh produce and stuff? So, first things first, I want to get rid of all of this rubbish. Obviously, we're going to need to do the preparation. There's not a lot to get rid of or to sort out in here, really. Okay, let's get rid of you and you. Right, so we definitely want new floors in here. So, okay. I'm going to do the usual. Yes, obviously I'm going to do the usual. I'm going to poke holes in the floor. I mean, that stuff doesn't matter so much, to be honest with you. I do love the sound effects in this game. I have made some wonderful noises. Of course, that's because we've got the doors there, but that's fine. Leave that out there, and yep, you need dismantling too. Now, what floor should we put in? The roughly cut stone for the edge, shroud wood. We're going to use that for the floor. Right. Let's get ourselves some blocks in here, shall we? Okay, it's the usual place. Remove. Place. Ooh. There we go. Just get rid of that bit in the centre there. Let's remove. Place. Right, so what we're going to do here is just go there. I mean, if it does remove the wall at the back, that's not a problem. We can replace that. What we're trying to do is get rid of this mess in front of us. And as for this bit, well, yep, there we go. So there's our floor. Got to get rid of you. There we go. So if I remember rightly, this around the edge is shroudwood, I believe. Right, how can we test that? Let's take a little piece out. There we go. Yes, it's shroudwood. Let's put that piece back. Okay. So now we will need our slightly smaller pieces, and we want shroudwood. Let's just press you in there. If any of those scrappy little bits are left afterwards, then... Oh, just me, like I missed a bit there, actually. That misaligned, but we'll get back over it. That's fine. Okay, now we are going to need to do something about that roof. I mean, I'm all for a bit of ventilation, right? But that is taking the pee. Right. Have we covered it? Are we all in? We do appear to be. That seems to be fine. Yep. Okay. There we go. So we ventilation. Okay, now I want to extend this in actual fact. So I'm going to go back to blocks a minute. I'm just going to extend it up to the edges there. I don't really want you over. Okay, let's take snapping off. There, and let's remove that top layer there. Okay, yeah, we're going to need to do that, aren't we? Because no, maybe we'll get away with that. Either way, it needs extended. So for that again, I'm going to need shroudwood, and yes, I'm going to remember to change it. I have. Again, I'm not going to edit that out. Honestly, see, this is it. You know, you really should make sure you've got the. Let's go for this person. Really should make sure you've got the right stuff loaded on. Mucking this up completely. Right, let's try that again, shall we? Just want you one more out. Big deal. There. Okay, let's way up to the edge there, practically there as well. Okay, right, reasonably happy with that. I'm also trying to move pretty fast as well, so you'll have to forgive me for some of the mistakes. These are things, obviously, that when I'm building myself, not on video, normally check. But I'm also trying to do this fast, you know. Maybe I should slow down a bit. Let's do the same over here. So I can automatically see I'm going to need to cut some of that away. That's fine there. Yep, so that there is going to need to go. Okay, so they all need to be slightly higher. Again, apologies for my depth perception. Okay, that's good enough. And then we want over the top as well. Then I can fill in that backside. Okay, let's put the plant fibre roofs in. I'm thinking this little section here is going to be the back room, but I want to do something else with it as well. So, you know, this is where we're going to keep our boxes and barrels, all of our supplies for our own. A little bit on the high side, I think. Again, could be my depth perception. Not 100% sure about that. Sure that's entirely necessary, but looks like it has come over this side slightly. Right, okay. Feel like I've tidied that up enough. At least to meet my satisfaction for this anyway. Right, let's find the correct shapes to try and fit in here. What I could really do is definitely a bit of light here. Again, I'm sure everybody else can see. I'm finding it a little bit difficult. I think that wall should have been. Yep, I do get the feeling I've taken that wall either one too far out. There. Right, okay. There we go. So that's right. And what I want is actually, I prefer the doorway to be over this side. In fact, we can remove that completely and just rebuild it. Try and catch that on the side. Almost had it. Yep. And gets a little bit fiddly at times. At least it does for me. I think I'm going to remove you there. Yep. Also, can we get that last little bit? I wonder. Okay, we've just created a small hole there, so let's fill that in. We've got shroud wood, yep. Okay. Move that. Okay, so going to remove all of this here. So you could actually always, you know, build this into it if you so wished. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't necessarily make this back bit the bar, but like I said, I wanted it extended. And let's go to our shroud wood again. Must admit to being a little bit undecided there. We'll clip outside just a little bit, so we'll bring that down. Okay, so can I fill that in? I'm going to want 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe this should just be big enough for the door. That's a shame we don't have some kind of saloon style doors. Those would be quite nice there. And as always, which box did I put them in? I didn't, and I don't have them on my hotbar either. Of course I didn't. Absolutely, of course I didn't. As per usual, I'm semi-organised. He says running into the door. Wouldn't you? There we are. That's what I want. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we need to close this bit up, and obviously I don't think it's going to let us currently. again, we need our shroud wood, which I have selected. Good. Now, I've just put 2 of those off center. I know that for a fact. That one's fine. That's where I want it. I'm going to have to remove that other one in a minute. Is that on? Yes, that is on. More up. That one's just behind. That one's just behind. Okay. Now, let's grab our windows. As I've always suggested, I would like just a touch more light than this, to be honest. I'll have to have a look down there. I don't think it would be possible to place any more windows, though. It's almost a shame that they don't have skylights in this. That would be fantastic. If they're ever going to put in glass skylights, you just messed that up. There we go. And yep, and of course, nighttime. I do have nighttime super fast, but of course it would go faster if I go and place myself in the bed, of course. Okay. Now, it does normally go super quickly, but I am going to make it go a damn sight quicker. Rise and shine. Sorry about that. I do have the lights on so that they're a lot faster, but they cannot go fast enough for me. I honestly do need as much light as possible. It's bad enough when I haven't got light that I make mistakes. And if you think those mistakes are horrific, you should see it when I can't see. Right, there we go. In actual fact, I'm going to go back to those. What could we really do with this? Not right at the top. Now, let's get our signs. Okay. So we need want a good sized barrel. I mean, we don't actually have signs in this, and obviously in one of the updates they're going to bring you know, the ability to write on certain signs, I believe, but at the moment we don't have that, so we're going to try and ad lib here. I think I'm going to use one of the steel barrels actually, because they tend to stand out a bit more, and I'm going to use Where did I put the chains? There we go. Okay. Definitely going to be adding some light in a bit. Now, if we are going to have a pub or a tavern or an inn, we could really do with some sides. I think that needs to come out just a little bit more. I want one there, and then okay, let's make sure that doesn't look too ridiculous. No. Okay, not too low down either. No, I want to make sure that, you know, people are not going to bang their heads when they're walking in. That would be kind of daft. Now, we're going to need to fine-tune this. You up that way. Now, I'm going to need you... Can we get you... Yes, we can get you caught on the chains. I'm thinking... just there. No, that doesn't look right. You need to move those chains over a little bit. So, let's see if we can do that. Have snapping off. There. And for the other one. Move you over. Okay, so I feel slightly better about that. That, unfortunately, that's our tavern sign for the moment. I might actually like that a little bit higher up, but I'm not going to play around with it in a moment. If I was allowed to tweak it, I would have that slightly up higher. I might even try and find a frame for it or some block to place it against. But that's it for the moment. We have our tavern sign. Right, so let's do we have everything? As far as I'm concerned, we have everything remodeled for the moment. There's a bit of light coming through there. Not entirely pleased about. Okay, and a little bit up there. I don't think that's a roof problem though. I think that's my placing of the wood there, to be honest with you. I don't think it's as neat and as tidy as it could be. I'm going to try and close it up, but if this doesn't work as well as it should, yeah, which I don't know, that light's still coming through, but we're not going to mess around with it. We have our door at the side. Right, time to get our stuff in. Sounds a bit bad, doesn't it, trying to get our stuff in. Time to put our things in place. Let's set this stuff back. Don't need those for the moment. Those. Don't need the doors. Shouldn't need those, at least for the time being. Right, let's get the bar placement. And did I put them in this box? Or you know, that's always a question. So did I put them in this box? Did I put them in the other box? And of course, it's always going to be the box that I look in last. That actually has them in. There we go. The tavern counters. I think that was from the previous update. Right. Try and get it spot on. Okay, so here we have our bar counter. Right, I do feel like really there is some light on this object. Outside light, I'm going to use the same lights that I'm using for the street lamps, so as much as I like you guys, you are really just... if I can... No, I think it... But, yep, I'll almost have them. Okay, that gets rid of one. It's a shame, because I really like those lanterns on the outside. It's a shame we can't use some sort of materials to repair them again, or have the option to, but that might be asking for a bit too much. Place you there. Place you there. Okay, at least we should have a little bit of light outside. Now for the light inside. Okay. There. There. And there. Okay, so at least I feel like we've got a little bit of light on the subject. Now I'm thinking we could actually place some windows down here. After all, I'm looking at and there is enough space. I am going to do that. Because again, I would like some light in here. They're normally 2 up. Yeah, well, that's as good as it gets for the moment, I think. And then down here. Of course, if I was taking my time over this, or taking more time over this, what I would do is measure the spaces and check that they are going to be equal on both sides. Because I would much prefer that. We'd even go outside and take a slight part of that roof off as well. Because obviously when you're looking out the windows you can see the roof outside, and I might still do that actually. And the same here. I'll get rid of that bit out there. Thank you. Just want a little bit of light, that's all. Not too much to ask, I don't think. Okay, so at least we have another couple of windows. That's good. Also, quite like these, I'm thinking... No, I shouldn't do that, it's dangerous. A little bit of decoration up the top of the bar there. And also this side. There we go. There's almost a temptation to put them across the top, but I think that would be too much, to be honest with you. I think at that point you're just going a little bit mad with it. Right, really, why am I taking that out of there? Again, we can't rule out stupidity here. Okay, so let's place fireplace in. I'm going to place it just there. There we go, a nice fireplace in the inn. Keep our patrons nice and warm while they drink. Okay, that being said and done, I'm thinking, do have some more there. We're good. Right, let's start getting the inside of the inn done. No longer need you. Or you, or you. Thinking we're done with you. Let me put the rest of this in here. We're going to fit it. Not quite. Oh well. Okay, first of all, let's get the outside done. We don't need you because we're not actually going to need 2 fireplaces. I mean, obviously, it's entirely up to you as to what fireplaces you want to use and how you decorate. I'd like to see if I can put that on the wall. Stick that over the door for a little bit of extra decoration, maybe. Now, tables. Now, I have several ideas here. I actually couldn't decide which, so I'm going to make a split decision now. As to which tables and chairs I like. Don't need any more doors, thank you. Good. And I just saw them. Yeah, there we go. There's the other type of seating. Right. Like I said, hard to say. Now, I do quite like the... You see, I think the boreal ones go very well here. Could fit those in quite nicely. They do look good. Now, what about the rustic? Let's have a look. See, they're not bad. They're not bad. These ones. I'm going to go with the boreal. I like the look of them, and I think they're just more suitable. Okay, down here I'm going to put you and you. Slightly larger tables, maybe. We can get away with. Probably slightly away from the wall there. And obviously over here we have the fireplace, so obviously we're not going to stick them right there. Thinking to the side of the bar, maybe? Just there. Don't really want too many in the way, so we want it to look good, so we'll have a table, I think, just there. Okay. Like I said, a little bit of decoration. Let's not stick the heads on the torches. As amusing as that would be. Place you over the bar. Of course, you could use any head decoration you wanted to. I'm just choosing to use that one. And the emblem. It's. I've already placed a sign up there, you see, but can we bring you down just a little bit? Maybe. Could maybe incorporate that as part of it. Still need to bring you down, slightly over. And place you there. I'm not sure how good that looks. I'm sure that could... You could perhaps find a better one, but that could be incorporated in. Again, I might have a couple of heads either side the door, but I don't know. I think if we put too much on there, it's going to sort of take it away from there, really. Okay, now we need chairs. Okay. Now I am going to place them directly on for the moment, but I would suggest, certainly since we're thinking about having entertainment, I would perhaps turn the chairs slightly as well. I mean, if you have them all squared on, it's going to look way too perfect, in my opinion. So it's sometimes, you know, better if you just have the chairs just a little bit on there. Just have them a little bit off. Did I bring benches? I thought I did. I know I brought them, but I do not have them in my inventory. It's the trouble I find sometimes when I'm doing this. My brain's just sort of, you know, working through the process, and it doesn't always work through the process properly. Now, where did I put them? I can see that I've got the shelves in there. I'm pretty sure I brought them in with those. Don't, unless they're actually in here, and I am, well, we already know I'm blind, but... I don't think I bought them then, so I'm just not seeing them in the box. Very well, we'll continue using our chairs, because otherwise I'm going to have to run down, search the boxes, and I'm not going to do that for the sake of the video. For the sake of the length of the video. There we go. So at least now we have a seating area. Those patrons who come in, got somewhere to sit down. These ones I am going to put slightly closer. Now, you know, hopefully the NPCs choose not to sit in those chairs because they're awfully blooming close, those. So hopefully they choose not to sit in those ones, but you know what? It's almost guaranteed, isn't it, that they will sit in those ones because those are the ones that you don't want them to sit in. Right, so next thing, we need to make this just a little bit more welcoming. It really does need to be a little bit more. Let's take our choice of dividers in there. I have an idea for those. Not sure it'll work, but I have an idea for those. Usual decorations, we'll take those in. Carpets, that's what we need, or rugs. We do want those. Got a bit of hanging as well. Okay. Dividers are really just a little bit of extra decoration. I really do like the designs on these, to be honest. And so whenever I have pillars like this, I just use them to sort of decorate a little bit. Entirely up to you whether you do that, what kind of patterns that you find. But I just find that adds, you know, just a, I like it. It's just a touch of, you know, sort of colour and decoration, as I said. Okay. Let's have our big one at the door. Keep it warm and welcoming, just there. And also up at the bar. Let's face it, how many drinks are going to get spilled at the bar, you know, around the bar? That, let's face it, you know, that lovely fur rug, that's going to get caked in alcohol. Soaked, sorry, not caked. Would go red just there, wouldn't you? Come on. Play ball. Fine. Gee. Too much there, I think. It says running all the way over the tables. No respect for furniture. There. Just going to have one behind the bar here as well. You're not even going to see it behind the bar, but I'm putting one there, okay? You know, whoever's serving behind the bar. Again, I'm going to choose to put suits of armour either side of the fireplace. I like doing that. You know, if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that most frequently I end up putting suits of armour next to that. There we go. Okay, we're done with those. Done with all of that. That. Okay, so next we're left with just a little bit of decoration. So all of those. Definitely want some coasters. Definitely want some food platters there. Got the baskets more for behind the bar. Some of those. Maybe clay jugs. Done for there, and from in here. Use up those 3 food plates. Okay. And we're going to take some of those too. I tend to use those little ones even sometimes like food and fresh pepper pots. Take some of the silver ones as well, just to mix it up a bit. I know some people will be sitting there saying, just use the bronze. I can't have bronze and silver in there. And yeah, I can see why. I may mix it up just a little. And I'm going to put these slightly down the ends of it. I may be putting them a little bit too far down, just to be honest with you. Again, for speed. Okay, we have those, and now we could just dump those, but I'm going to put this one here. It's a spare candle that they can use on the tables. Now, you know what? I'm going to put these 2 on the bar, as if they're ready to go. On with the jug. These either side. Can I get it? Just either side of the door would be good. There we go. Just don't want too many to clutter up the table, but just a couple of flowers around, just to give it just a little bit of colour, I think. You know, obviously we can always use the plant pots and stuff. Some food on the bar, ready to go. Let's pop you on there. If that's going to sink in. No, it doesn't quite. But I know sometimes they would do. So, I'm going to put a couple of food platters around. Just for visuals. There we go. Definitely put a couple of coasters around. There you're having a drink. You've got food and drink, whoever sits there. No, don't want them too far around. There we go, so that should be enough to represent a good amount there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I have those there. Okay, now I'm going to put some more of these bronze mugs around as well, because I know we can place stuff on the placemats, but go. Some good visual representations. There. Of course, if you want to be more particular with them, you absolutely can do. Again, for time, I'm placing some around so that we have sort of some semblance of life going on here. People eating and drinking. Down this end, just around here, just poking around the corner. One of you. There we go. Right, so as I said, already it's beginning to look quite nice in here. We could really do with some music in that. I'm sure Valerie will be quite happily playing her music and practicing her music in there. Right. Got everything back in there. Oh, yeah, of course you did. Don't throw your hammer away. That's silly. There we go. Take some banners in there. Take some pictures just to finish that decoration off just a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen, but we're going to take a tapestry. I don't think that's going to fit in there, but no, I'm going to give it a go. And yes, I was looking above the bar there. Is that even going to be possible without having to? No, that's going to look absolutely daft. But where it won't look daft is in here, up there. You need to do, there we go, is move you, possibly place you slightly higher up. So I find that's actually the bracketed torches just add a bit more light, or a bit better light, I would say, than the hanging ones. I'm sure I brought a second one in, didn't I? I did not. Sorry, there's a lot of running backwards and forwards. Every time I try to make sure I'm organised and I try to make sure that I've got everything so the video isn't too long, and every time I find I've forgotten stuff. Looking now, I don't see it. Don't see a second one in there. No, I don't care. I'm going to go and grab one. You know I have them. Start puffing and panting. It's only a short run. I've all my decoration boxes. There we go. Yep. Thank you very much. You're not even nearly out of stamina. Stop whining. Okay. You there. Why have I brought those in? Like I said, even if it won't go, we've already got the outside covered. Again, you know, this may look like a little bit too much if you start putting too much out here, but I'm going to put those there anyway. Again. And as for you, well, you, my friend, a decoration in here, that's it. Let's have your tusks sitting just over there and place you. There we go, a bit of decoration inside as well. There we go, some pictures to go on the wall. Now that is going to look like a sad, single, lonely hanging. You know, I might have, if I had two of those, I would perhaps place one on either side or something, but I don't. So I'm going to place you over here. And yes, not everything has to be symmetrical. You know, I may regret saying that and I may regret doing that, but yes, not everything has to be symmetrical. Don't ever let any of my real life friends, let me say that. You'd never hear the end of it. Go away. Right, now, behind the bar. Move on. Might be a point where we can use the rustic table and barrels. Take one of you as well. Let's take all of those. You guys, you, I don't feel like we need anything else behind there. Maybe you guys, if I want to separate things. Possibly the dividers. Pumpkins. So let's face it, the dividers, you do quite nicely. Decoration. This is why I want all of the sacks and barrels and crates, because that's what we're going to keep behind. I might take those as well. Need those for the shelves. We have some of you, but I'm going to take those anyway and take you. I did put the toilets in there because I planned to do a little outside toilet, but again, the length of the video, maybe not. Might be something I would do if I was doing it myself. That's it, just getting tangled and caught up in all of the stuff there. Actually, let's move you over here. Not straight into the wall, but let's place you there. And that to me feels a little bit too far away, actually. I mean, if you're getting someone a drink, you hardly want to walk that distance back there, grab the stuff and come back. So I'm going to change that slightly. I do like the room dividers, but I'm going to use you instead. We use the edge of the carpet as a marker. I might end up changing that table around as well, in actual fact. So we'll have the preparation area slightly out of sight. In fact, I'm going to put you there. Not quite. Let's have you slightly over. I want you slightly over as well. Just to make, yes, a little bit of room in the centre there. Where's our... Don't know whether this will... Kind of not. Might be better actually to make a bar in between out of wooden blocks. Or even better, a table. Can you use wooden blocks though? Yep, shroud blocks, because it's the same as we have in here anyway. Let's see how we can get away with it. There we go. Comes out the corner there. Not overly keen on that, but that's fine for the time being. Again, I'd probably fix that. In fact, I might even do a surrounding for that bar, to be honest. Okay, so let's move this table, which hasn't appeared in there. Of course it hasn't. Place the table at the back here. Wrap area. And then obviously, for any food or drink preparation area, let's have the sink. Hygiene. There we go. Now, we'll keep those reasonably close to hand, and obviously, you know, whoever's having to bring them through the doors. I must say, that door is rather small to be looking those big barrels in, or maybe they're just refillable. You know what? Let's go with that. Let's call them refillable. There we go. And you. They are quite on the large sides though. Go first person for this. So our shelf over there. Let's go at this end. A couple of our baskets there. Really what I'm doing here is just placing a few things around for decoration. I mean, it's going to make this area definitely a little bit on the tight side, that's for sure. Make it very close and very cozy. Let's go for a different style of barrel there. Okay. And perhaps over here. A couple there too. Right. Like I said, definitely want a few barrels and sacks and items. Move the bar, we don't need that. This grinder, definitely want the boxes on. Replace you. Don't need that table, so we'll take the other boxes. Okay. Grinder up on the table. Like I said, it could be that they do have some food, because obviously we have a kitchen in the farmhouse, so it's not necessarily to prepare too much food in here. But I've no doubt in a tavern, let's face it, you know, you have a few mead, beer, ale, whatever your poison, and well, let's face it, after a few of those, you're probably going to get hungry, so you're going to want at least something to take that edge off. Okay. There we go. First person. Pop you down just there. I don't care. I'm gonna have a little. Let's have you up here for decoration. Where's your face? There's your face. Let's have you facing that side, shall we? And definitely for some drinks there. Definitely food. Again, fit behind the bar, so we're going to want some. We've already used you. Already got the baskets down. You and some decoration pieces there. Okay. Now, the question is, can we place them on top here? Can, but if we do that, we're going to have to... You can see how I've had to place quite a few of those to even get one up on the top there. I think that one's okay because one's already placed and we have some underneath, so that's acting as a surface. So let's place those 3 on there. Are the bags going to stick out there? They kind of are a bit. If I push them in a bit, we might get away with that. But it might be better to use those. Okay. Obviously, if we're going to have it, we're going to want plenty of tankards there. I do not envy whoever has to do the washing up. Tons on that side within easy reach. And some just here too. That's it, we're out of those. Place that there. Now I'm going to place these over here. Again, let's go first person. Might end up using that spare candle at the back here. Okay. Okay, we already have some in there. Need to go first person for this. Slightly better. And I'm going to want something for that centre. Is it night time? It is night time out there. I wonder why it was just decidedly darker. Okay. Okay, for our specially privileged patrons, maybe, or okay, have some silverware there. So at least turn the handle so it's facing there. Another array of jugs. No, it might actually be nicer if we had the glass jugs, beakers to go there. But there we go. That will most certainly do. You want to put? No, not really. Don't want too much more on the top there. In fact, it looks like it's going to sink in too much. Okay. Might be actually a point where you could put one of those tapestries on the back here to try and hide those holes, maybe. But yeah, I might have done that slightly differently. Okay, we have those at the back. Right. Everything off. It's just really time for finishing touches. Right. I've got to put my hammer back somewhere again, haven't I? Yeah, I'll put it at this end of the bar. For some reason. Okay, now everything should be in the blue boxes, so let's do out in the tavern first. Expect, there we go. Someone's having some beef stew there. We're going to do go and somebody's decided to have some chamomile tea. There we go. No alcoholic beverages here. I'm surprised they haven't come up with a kind of a brewing system yet, to be honest with you. Okay, let's go for a herbal mountain tea there. And we'll do the same. Let's go for another herbal mountain tea. Obviously herbal mountain tea party over there. Down here. One for beef stew. Let's go for pumpkin soup. And just here we're going to have the milkshake party. Like I said, it's a shame they don't have some sort of brewing system, you know, to have those barrels and have one where you could ferment things and make specific alcoholic beverages. You know, maybe they would give you, maybe they would definitely give you a warm buff if you had those, but actually now vision, how your vision would get very blurry after a while. Sure. Definitely do well in that cold climate though. I can't see that going down well, to be honest with you. I mean, it would look absolutely fantastic. You're brewing your alcoholic beverages to get yourself warm to go into the cold climate, but you imagine going across those mountains in the Albany district drunk. Like vision blurred, eyes blurring from the latest apple cider you'd made or something. Okay, let's do some preparation out here. There we go, some raw game. There you go, prepare that. There we go, and then obviously on the bar, well, we're going to want something finished on the bar. There you go. Oh yeah, definitely open sandwich. That looks like ribs to me, so we'll go for that. Open sandwich. And here, yep, go for another milkshake. So somebody's ordered a milkshake, or water for somebody, because they're slightly more on the purist side. And no, not that one. That one. And then someone else is going to have a, what we got down the bottom here? Spiced tea. There we go. Spiced tea looks rather nice, doesn't it? It's rather pretty. Nice colours. Right. So let's stand back and have a look at what we've got. Just missing a couple of things really, isn't it? Let's go and get them. In fact, let's add that bit of life that we need, which will definitely follow on to the next video I do after this. Okay, so NPCs. We need them. I think I've picked up most of them with this character. Hard to tell. I know I have with the others. Okay, so Emily, you are generally the cook over there, and I'm afraid you get the job of bar lady in this. So, there we go. Nope. Valerie, obviously you're a bard. So let's place you over here by the... Well, let's have you over here, I think, in that very slightly clearer space. There we go. Don't want you walking anywhere. And May in, place you there. Jade, let's give you a 10-meter range. But of course, I mean, the one thing you can see displaying above all their heads, beds. Oh my, we don't seem to have catered for their beds. Maybe that's what I should do next. Some place for our NPCs to stay. Officer, get your butt in here. Okay. And Ethelman, there you go. We'll have 10 minutes, but they do all need a bed. However, might be that Valerie, no, of course she won't start playing, will she? Because she hasn't got a bed. Well, there you go. That is a vague attempt at bringing some life into our slightly small farmyard tavern right here. As you can see though, once you had a bit of life here, once they were walking around, once they actually started moving, sitting down and using things, you know, it would actually look quite good. Oh, there we go. And what we could really do is actually some animals. Cade's already drunk. He's laying on the floor. We can see he has already hit the alcohol. Do I put any alcohol in there? We could really perhaps do with a dog or a cat in here right now. But at least for the time being, I feel like we're good here. You know, we don't need to prolong the video much longer. I think we've got our sign. We've got our tavern, we've got our inn. This is where they can come and congregate, you know, where they can catch up, have something to eat, have something to drink, or they can go next door, sit in the lounge that we've created, rest, relax, read books. But, yeah, I believe that's it. That's what I've recreated this barn into. Obviously, you know, you can do whatever you want with this barn. You can turn it into an animal place or do whatever, but yep, at least for this little Harvest Homestead community, I've chosen to make this the tavern bar. So yeah, on that note, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. It's appreciated. And if you like what you see, leave a like, and obviously if you'd like to subscribe because you'd like to see more, you know, please do. It'd be very much appreciated. I actually have a poll on the moment on my YouTube channel as to what I should be doing for a playthrough next. So if you care to, have a look there and place a vote. Other than that, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good morning, noon, or evening. And on that note, take care, stay safe, and catch you next time. Bye for now.